You can watch every tutorial, buy the perfect camera, and still feel completely lost your first time out. Nobody talks about how awkward and uncertain those first days shooting the streets actually feel. Like everyone else knows what they're doing and you don't. In this video, I'm giving you 5 honest truths nobody tells you about when starting street photography. By the end of this video, you'll not only feel less awkward shooting in public, you'll know how to turn even your most boring shots into something meaningful. Let's get into it. Let's just say it, street photography can make you feel incredibly self-conscious. You raise a camera and immediately assume everyone thinks you're either a tourist, a spy, or someone who's just really into lampposts. Now that feeling is amplified for me because I have a disability that affects my arms. I shoot with a custom setup involving a mini tripod and a shutter cable, which makes me more visible and, yes, a bit more self-conscious. But weirdly, it's made me more resilient too. So if I can do it, then so can you. And the truth is, you don't have to be some kind of undercover agent. This isn't Mission Impossible. You just have to get comfortable being noticed. So how do you ease into it? You could start by perhaps using a small, quiet camera or just your phone. Start by standing still in one place rather than walking around scanning the street. You blend in more when you're not constantly moving. Or just use the fishing technique. Find a spot with good light, structure or colour and a good background, and wait. The more you do this, the more time you spend out there. Like anything in life, it starts to feel normal. You start to get used to it. And if someone comes up to you and asks what you're doing, just be polite. Offer to delete the photo if they ask, and then send them on their merry way. I've had plenty of conversations, some good, some awkward, and like I said, that also gets easier. Eventually, it's just not a big deal anymore. If you've made it this far, I assume that you're either interested or just very polite. In either case, a like or subscribe would be lovely. Every photo that you see in this video here is processed with my own Lightroom presets, which are currently 10% off in my store with a summer discount. So just use the code SUMMER10. Or if you fancy supporting the channel more directly, you can join my Patreon. I'm adding new content every week, and members get my full color preset pack, a brand new preset every month, and a whole bunch of other extras, including a much bigger discount on everything in my store. The link is down below if that's your kind of thing. Thank you very much. When you're starting out, a lot of your photos might feel a bit empty or flat. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It just takes time to train your eye and recognize what makes a composition worth capturing. It happened to me constantly when I started, and honestly, it still happens. But the mistake I made, and that most beginners make, is thinking this means you're not good enough. You are. You're just not seeing clearly yet. That's because street photography isn't about just snapping what's in front of you. It's about learning to recognize the potential, light, structure, storytelling, before the moment happens. When you're starting out, you tend to photograph subjects, but the more you shoot, the more you start seeing how light shapes a composition, how the edges of your frames matter, how timing adds energy. That's when things shift. If you want to speed up that process, try this. Find a street with strong side light or shadow play, and shoot the scene in a few different ways. Play with angles, move to different positions so that the light is behind your subject or in front of your subjects and to the side of your subject. Then when you get home and upload your photos into your editing program, just study them and see how the light works with the different positions that you've photographed from. That's the best way to learn how light actually works. Also, listen out for people laughing, talking, and keep your eye on what potential subjects are doing at all times. That's how you start noticing storytelling moments. And when you learn to see those patterns of light, of timing, of story, even your most ordinary shots start to feel more intentional and meaningful. If you want to learn more about how light works on subjects, then check out this video. It's linked up above in the cards right now. One of the biggest misconceptions about street photography is that you need a buzzing city, packed pavements, and people everywhere to get a great shot. And while that can make things easier, it's not a requirement. And here's the part nobody really says. You don't even need a person in the frame to make a powerful street photo. Of course, people add life, emotion, and story, but they're not the only ingredients. A strong composition with interesting contrast or atmosphere can't stand on its own. So don't let a quiet street or the lack of a human subject put you off. Look for shapes, colours, shadows, details, and mood in your frame. Frame your shot like a painting and let the space itself do the heavy lifting. The more you train your eye in this way, you'll start to realise even the quietest frames can stand out in your portfolio when they're composed with care and purpose. This is the idea, especially when you're starting out, that if you can just get the perfect settings, everything else will fall into place. But here's the truth. You can have flawless exposure, tack sharp focus, and all the right settings dialed in, and still end up with a photo that feels completely lifeless. Street photography isn't about technical perfection. It's 20% your camera and 80% you being present and aware. And it's about recognizing something worth capturing before it disappears. What helped me was simplifying everything. Auto ISO with minimum shutter speed. That way you won't have to think about exposure in the moment. You can just focus on what's happening around you. For daytime shooting, I usually set my auto ISO from 100 to 3200 with a minimum shutter speed of 1/250th of a second and an aperture range of approximately f4 to f11. At night, it's ISO 800 to 6400 with a minimum shutter speed of 1/100 seconds, and I stick with an aperture of f2.8. And I always shoot in aperture priority mode. It keeps everything fast and flexible while still giving me creative control. So if you're overwhelmed by the technical side, simplify it. Focus on observing the streets around you rather than your camera dials, and let your settings support your vision, not distract from it. Here's something that nobody tells you when you start. Even when everything lines up perfectly, the light, the subject, the background, the street will find a way to ruin it. A car will park right in front of your frame, a delivery van will pull up just as somebody walks through the light, a brilliant moment will vanish the second you lift your camera. If I got paid every time I muttered under my breath because someone walked or drove straight into my shot, I'd be funding this channel from a villa in the south of France. So when someone or something ruins your shot, it's easy to feel like you've failed, but you haven't. This is street photography. You can't control the streets, but you can control how you respond to them. That means tuning in, not just to noise, but to footsteps, voices, how someone walks or stands, the direction of light, and how people move and live in the streets. Some of your best photos will come from waiting a little longer. Others you'll miss completely because life just gets in the way. And that's fine. The next frame that you get will be better than the one you lost. Street photography rewards patience, awareness, and presence. The more you observe, the more prepared you'll be when those fleeting moments arrive. Because they will, just not always when you expect them. So what's something you wish someone had told you before you started street photography? I'd love to know, and I'm sure the community would too. So please let us know down below. If you'd like more street photography tips straight to your inbox, plus even more discounts on my store, you can sign up for my newsletter using the link below. And if you enjoyed this video, you might like this one too. It's all about the creative benefits of photographing 3 different areas in the same town or city. Until we meet again, go forth and create.